despite what you said in July. Shares are down since then. You're also lagging your peers somewhat when it comes to the share price. What can you say to reassure investors?
Well, my confidence level has certainly gone up tremendously over the last year. And this is due to two elements. One, we see really good uptake and demand for our new medicines like Ocrevus in multiple sclerosis and others. And at the same time, we have transitioned a number of compounds into our late-stage pipeline. So the portfolio has become much more stronger. So both in the short term and in the mid-long term, the prospects have improved.
How satisfied are you with the portfolio now then? Because we've seen you divest some small, older assets that aren't part of the core areas.
Well, we are at a record level in terms of new medicines in our late-stage pipeline. We have now 15 new molecular entities. That is a record. And that gives me also the confidence that we will maintain the growth and the momentum for the mid and for the longer term.
You've steered away a bit from major M&A since the Genentech deal. What are you currently looking for in terms of acquisitions and partnerships?
Yeah, our M&A approach has not changed. We focus on smaller, mid-size, bolt-on acquisitions to complement our portfolio, to complement our technologies. And that's what you have seen over the more recent past. We had some mid-size transactions, but you're absolutely right. We do stay away from these big transactions and mega mergers.
If we see more M&A in the sector in general, which companies do you think could be targets?
Well, in our industry, innovation can pop up in all parts of the world and in many diseases. And our philosophy is that we follow the science. So if a new interesting technology comes up, if a new medicine delivers promising results, that's when we would get interested. It's a very opportunistic approach. It's not an approach where we say we have a strategy to go into this or into that field.
Yeah.
Our approach is opportunistic and we follow the science, and that's reflected both internally in terms of how we do our research and development, but this is also reflected in terms of our external partnerships and in terms of M&A.
What's your approach in dealing with the prospect of a hard Brexit if there are challenges in stockpiling some of your more sensitive medicines for UK consumers, for example?
Right. We are confident that we can provide access to our medicines. Part of our precautions are also to increase our inventory levels in case there's a hard Brexit and in case it is getting more complicated from a supply chain logistics point of view. But we are confident that we can supply citizens in the UK.
On the supply chain, could there be any negative impact to Roche or to pharmaceutical supply chains from an escalation in a trade war between the US and China?
Well, what we have seen so far is that medicines are less concerned, and there are no discussions about restricting the access for medicines. And also all the involved countries have a very own interest to make sure that the export of medicines out of their countries will continue. So I see less of a danger in this respect.
Mr. Schwan, you've been in this role for 10 years. I've spoken to you before. Look forward to talking to you again. Will I talk to you again in 10 years' time?
Yes, I hope so. And I'm sure that by that time, science has again progressed. I'm sure that healthcare delivery will have tremendously improved by that time. And I do hope that we continue to play a leading role and are contributing to that development.
With you as CEO at that point?
I hope so.